Your brain doesn't believe your words. It believes your actions. So if you look successful on paper, good money, nice title, got the house, got the family, but still hear that voice saying it's not good enough, this video is for you. I'm going to show you that the solution isn't what you think. You don't need to push harder or find some new mindset hack. Instead, you need to build proof so strong that you can't help but believe in yourself. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. You see, I walked this exact path. I went from aerospace engineer chasing validation to founder of a 7-figure men's movement, Rising Kings. My marriage transformed, my fitness came back, and I finally felt truly present with my kids. But despite my success, I was still distant, living in fear, worrying I wasn't doing enough, until I discovered a system that changes the game. This system fixes the real reasons successful men feel empty, the gap between who you pretend to be and who you really are. You know that feeling when you're staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. in the morning? You have this amazing life on paper, but you're lying there worrying about how you're going to keep it all together. Most experts call this anxiety or imposter syndrome. The self-help industry tells you to fix it with breathwork or positive thinking, but they're wrong. The voice in your head isn't just anxiety. It's your gut telling you there's a gap between the person you show the world and who you really are. And this gap is hurting your life in 3 specific ways. First, your mental freedom. The noise in your head isn't just anxiety. It's the exhausting effort of trying to prove your worth through achievements while ignoring what truly builds confidence. Getting more successful doesn't quiet that voice. It actually makes it louder. The second is your relationships. The problems with your family aren't about time management. They're about being truly present. You're physically there, but your mind is on a next goal or achievement. Your family feels this, even if they can't explain it. And then the third is your work ceiling. That plateau in your business isn't about strategy. It's about leadership. You make thousands of small decisions, but avoid the few big choices that require you to truly trust yourself. And what makes this even more dangerous is that a 15-year Stanford study found that men with this achievement alignment gap were 340% more likely to experience serious health issues by the age of 55, regardless of their fitness level or income. Because this isn't just about feeling better, it's literally about your survival. For high-achieving men, this pattern is especially painful. You've built amazing things, solved huge problems, achieved what others only dream of, yet the more you accomplish, the bigger the gap grows. Think about it like climbing a ladder. Many successful men keep climbing higher and higher, thinking the next rung will finally make them feel complete. But they're shocked to discover that they're climbing the wrong ladder entirely. So ask yourself, man, when was the last time you truly felt alive? When you felt fulfilled? When you felt excited and confident about the life you were building? For most, it's been a very long time. Let me tell you about Rising King's brother, Matt. Imagine waking up actually looking forward to the day. Imagine your wife looking at you the way she did when you first met. Imagine making decisions without fear holding you back. That's what happened for Matt. He was a successful MD drowning in life and responsibilities, 70-hour work weeks, marriage barely holding on, overweight, exhausted. And within 90 days at Rising Kings, his marriage came back to life. His kids got their dad back. And he lost 13 kilos of stress and guilt. His work hours dropped to 45 hours a week while keeping the business profitable. Now, a lot of men come to Rising Kings for business help, but quickly find their marriage gets better, their fitness improves, and their leadership transforms. And this happens because building the right evidence doesn't just create confidence, it reveals the man you've always been capable of becoming. And it all starts with what I call the evidence loop. Your actions create evidence. Evidence shapes your identity. Identity drives your actions. Repeat. So here's a simple example. When you consistently have that difficult conversation instead of avoiding it, you're not just solving a problem. You're building proof that you're the kind of leader who faces challenges head on. And after just 30 days of this, your self-image literally begins to change. It's like working out, man. One push-up doesn't make you fit. But consistent training builds a body that simply can't be denied, even by you. So ask yourself, what kind of evidence are your daily actions creating right now? Is this evidence building the identity you actually want? James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, calls this identity-based habits. He says, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Now, most successful men have this process completely backward. They think achievement will eventually silence that voice saying not enough. But the more they achieve, the louder it gets. The biggest mistake I see is men focusing on huge achievements rather than consistent, aligned actions. They'll push for the $1 million deal, but avoid the 5-minute conversation with their teenager. They'll work 80 hours for external praise, but won't spend 30 minutes really connecting with their wife. The evidence that truly matters comes from consistency in alignment, not size of achievement. Your brain's BS detector is too good, man. It knows when you're substituting achievement for alignment. And here's why this is so urgent. The gap between who you claim to be and who you are isn't standing still. It's growing. Every day you avoid closing it, it gets wider. And this isn't just about you feeling better, it's about the example you're setting for your children. They don't follow your advice, they follow your example. So how do we actually close this gap and start building the right kind of evidence? Here's something that might surprise you. In our research with these 1,381 men, we found that the ones who achieved the most external success weren't the hardest workers. They weren't the smartest. And they definitely weren't the ones with the most knowledge. The single factor that separated the truly fulfilled achievers from everyone else, they consistently made tiny, almost insignificant changes that aligned with their core identity. Not once in a lifetime heroic decisions, but daily, consistent, evidence-building actions that most men overlook completely. And I call it the fulfillment flywheel. The first step is to reveal the current gaps in your life. To do this, you complete your Wheel of Life assessment to see where you're out of alignment. This shows you exactly where the disconnect is happening. You say family is a core value, but work always comes first in your calendar and energy. You claim health matters, but it's the first thing you drop when work gets busy. Seeing these gaps is powerful, like turning on the light in a dark room, but awareness alone isn't enough. In fact, it often makes that empty feeling worse when you realize how far off track you've been. Which leads me to step 2, to realign your actions. So next we create the daily discipline stack. Specific, non-negotiable daily actions that directly fix your value gaps. Now this isn't about adding more to your already full plate. It's about redirecting your energy towards what actually matters. Morning workouts become non-negotiable because they prove you prioritize health. Quality time with your wife and kids gets scheduled first, not with whatever energy is left. Important business decisions are handled right away, not pushed to someday. I want you to think of it like this. If you were building a house, your values are the blueprint, but your daily actions are the actual construction. The best blueprint in the world means nothing if you never break ground. And Andy Frisella puts it simply, your identity is not what you say. Your identity is what you do. These daily disciplines create proof that you are who you claim to be. You're no longer running faster in the wrong direction. You're making steady progress towards becoming the man you actually want to be. And this realignment is where transformation begins. But consistency is the key to making it permanent. This is where we track progress. Here we create accountability around your new aligned actions with our weekly scorecard. This simple tool measures whether your actions match your stated values and priorities. You'll track clear numbers like total days you trained, how many times you sent a daily message of love to your wife and kids, how often you started your mornings with intention rather than distraction. It's like having a fitness tracker but for your character. And when you see these numbers in black and white each week, there's nowhere to hide. The evidence becomes undeniable. Every man in Rising Kings tracks their daily disciplines, not because they need more motivation, but because they need to see concrete proof that they're living in alignment with their true values. And as this evidence builds up, something remarkable starts to happen. That voice saying it's not enough, it begins to quiet. The 2 a.m. anxiety starts to fade. Why? Because you're no longer chasing other people's approval. You're creating evidence of who you truly are. And here's something you can do today. Identify one conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's with your wife, a team member. Maybe it's with your client. Having that conversation will build more evidence for your identity as a leader than reading a dozen motivational books. So let me quickly recap what we've learned. First, that feeling of emptiness isn't a mindset problem. It's evidence of a gap between who you claim to be and who you actually are. Second, closing this gap requires something like our 3-step fulfillment flywheel, which has transformed thousands of men's lives in every area. Some men in Rising Kings build the evidence, they close the gap, but then they struggle to accept their new reality. One brother recently told me, I only work 2 to 3 days a week. I spend most of my time with my family. We're still making great money. Everything's working, but I'm terrified to admit it. Like if I acknowledge this success, it might all disappear. This is the flip side of the evidence gap. When your evidence actually exceeds your self-image. This happens especially with men who've achieved substantial external success. Having worked so hard to get there, they can't bring themselves to fully own and enjoy what they've built. That's why this system isn't just about building evidence, it's about accepting the evidence you build, about becoming the man your actions have already proven you are. The hidden advantage nearly every Rising Kings man discovers. When you start stacking undeniable wins in one area, it creates a powerful ripple effect across your entire life. It's like dropping a stone into a pond and those ripples reach out and touch everything. Like men join us to fix their marriage and then suddenly find themselves crushing it in business with newfound clarity and confidence. This is what happens when you live at your highest standard. So here's the hard truth. Every day you continue building the wrong evidence is a day you're cementing the identity you're trying to escape. The longer you wait, the deeper that identity sets in. So if you want the exact step-by-step blueprint to become the disciplined, unstoppable version of yourself without relying on motivation and willpower, I break down the discipline engine on this video right here.